Fishermans Bend is a large port and industrial precinct just southwest of Melbourne CBD. It's slated for redevelopment soon, so I'll be doing a couple of videos around here before it starts to happen. One of the most famous sites in the Fishermans Bend precinct is the huge General Motors Holden's complex facing Salmon Street, Lorimer Street and Todd Road near the middle of the suburb. In 1935, General Motors Holden's Limited, or GMH, purchased 50 acres of Crown land from the Victorian government to build their new manufacturing and office facilities. Construction on the headquarters and the first plant buildings was amazingly quick, taking only 11 months from beginning to end in 1936 and costing £450,000, or about $44 million in today's money. And these original buildings are still here on Salmon Street. These include the Parts Building in the northeast corner, the Administration Building just next door, and the Technical Centre in the southeast area of the site. There is some very interesting architectural detail on these buildings, including the parapets and a hidden flat roof on top of the modern-style Administration Building. The first vehicle manufactured at this plant, an Oldsmobile car from the USA, was completed on the 28th of September 1936. Production demand rapidly increased following the commencement of the Second World War in 1939, and new buildings for engineering, tests, foundries and other facilities were built throughout 1939 and 1940. During this time, manufacturing and industrial facilities like the GMH plant were converted to military uses. These included building vehicles, artillery and engines. This new construction program also included the famous Social Club building, which is still here on Bayside Avenue. It's a very nice building, but a bit hard to see now from behind all the fences. It was built for the health and well-being of staff at the plant and included a canteen and recreation facilities. There are two very nice murals painted in 1945 by Eileen Robertson, a GMH employee, and depict the technological progress and perceived future of transport. The end of the war in 1945 meant that GMH could concentrate on their pet project, designing and manufacturing Australia's own car. This was the famous Holden 48-215, or Holden FX, which, after years of preparation and testing, was officially launched in November 1948 by the Prime Minister, Ben Chifley. It proved to be an immediate success with plenty of media hype. Production of this car eventually reached 20,000 per year, with other GMH factories around Australia, such as in Woodville in Adelaide, also manufacturing the car. By 1962, over 1 million of these cars had been sold. GMH then went through a period of expansion in the 1960s on 36 acres of newly acquired land next to their original site. New facilities built during this time include the engine plant, grey iron foundry, and the technical centre. Eventually, as sales fell and economic conditions changed, GMH, now Holden, began to scale down operations at Fishermans Bend. In 2013, Holden announced that it would end manufacturing in Australia by 2017, and it sold off the site to the Victorian government in 2016. By June 2020, all Holden activities on this site had ceased. Most of the buildings still remain on the original 50-hectare property. Some areas have been demolished or repurposed for other uses, such as offices and warehouses, mostly on the sections facing Todd Road and Lorimer Street. The main entrances to the plant buildings and the technical centre are still there, and if you get close enough, you can have a good peek through the windows and into the main foyer. It still looks pretty intact, with clocks from different time zones on the wall, vintage signs talking about workplace safety, a shelf full of large plans to the side, and even some old COVID-19 signs around, which shows just how recently this complex was in operation. There are many other remnants on the site, including this clock tower in the middle of the office park, signs that have not yet been updated, and other bits and pieces if you look hard enough. The southern part of the site is planned to be used as a campus by the University of Melbourne for engineering and technology. The university's master plan describes it as, quote, the heart of the innovation precinct, and some of the heritage buildings will be retained, including the social centre. No visible work has commenced yet, and with the impacts of the pandemic still with us, we may have to wait a while longer before this historic site becomes active once again. Thanks for watching this video about the General Motors Holden's plant in Fishermans Bend. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to click the like button and subscribe to this channel for future videos. Also, please feel free to get in touch in the comments or via my website at philipmallis.com. Thanks and see you next time.